So in this example, we're going to use the midpoint formula to find the coordinates of the missing endpoint if we're given one endpoint and the midpoint. So remember our midpoint formula is this: x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Well, in this case, b is the midpoint, so that's what we're going to equal. So let's do x first. So we would do -5 plus the unknown x, because what we're looking for is we're looking for a and its coordinates that are x and y. So -5 plus x over 2, and that equals -2. Well, if you'd like, we can turn this into an algebraic proportion by putting the -2 over 1. So we cross multiply. -5 plus x equals -4. Again, when we cross multiply, we're multiplying diagonals. We can then add 5 to both sides of the equation, and we get that x equals 1. Then we'll do the same thing using the y coordinates. So we know one of the y's is 4. We don't know the other endpoint y, but we know it has to equal the midpoint at 5. So again, we'll put it in over 1. We can cross multiply to get 4 plus y equals 10, and thus y equals 6. So our answer to this problem, what are the coordinates of their endpoint, would be this. A would be at 1 and 6. Now, we could also think about doing this in a slightly different way. So again, C is at -5, 4, B is at -2, 5, and we're looking for A. Remember that the midpoint, by definition, is the point that's in the middle of the two endpoints. So if we think about this from this standpoint, -5, the midpoint's at -2. Well, how much of a change is that? Correct. It went up 3. That means to get to the other endpoint, we have to do the exact same thing. So if we go from 3 up from -2, we get 1. And if you remember from our last slide, the x-coordinate of the midpoint was 1. For the y's, we're starting at 4. We're going to 5. I'll tell you what, let's draw this vertically. We're at 4. The midpoint's at 5, so that means we've added 1. Well, we have to do the same thing for the other endpoint, and we get 6, which again was the answer to our other point. Let's look at one more example of this. And suppose that I tell you that, stay with red, A is at 1, 7, B is at -3, 1. Where's C? X and Y. So again, if we think about the x's, 1, -3. Well, you can agree we go back 4, which means that the other endpoint would be back 4 from -3.